12th December 2015, the Paris Agreement, a legally binding international treaty on climate change, was adopted by 196 parties at COP21 in Paris. The Paris Agreement's long-term temperature goal was to keep the global average temperature well below 2 degrees Celsius, above pre-industrial levels, and preferably limit the temperature to 1.5 degrees Celsius in order to reduce the risks and impacts of climate change. Several COP meetings have taken place since COP21 and the famed Paris Accords, including the recent COP27 summit in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. But it is now almost certain that the world is dangerously close to missing the 1.5 degrees Celsius target. Why is the 1.5 degrees Celsius target the most important target for mankind? How is this going to impact our life on planet Earth? Let's unbreak this news.
J'invite maintenant la COP à adopter le projet de décision intitulé Accord de Paris qui figure dans le document. Je regarde la salle, je vois que la réaction est positive, je n'entends pas d'objection. L'accord de Paris pour le climat est accepté.
That was a famed historical Paris Agreement being adopted at COP21 summit in Paris in 2015. The agreement was a landmark one because for the first time, a binding agreement brought all nations into a common cause to undertake ambitious efforts to combat climate change. The 1.5 degrees Celsius target is known to be the most important target for life on planet Earth. But this crucial climate goal is dying. Last year, international organizations sounded the death knell. And this year, we are close to realizing that the 1.5 degrees Celsius goal may be dangerously missed.
Rarely have we faced a crisis like this one, a truly existential crisis that, if not addressed, threatens not only us, but succeeding generations. There is one path forward. A 1.5 degree future is the only livable future for humanity. And I urge leaders to get on with the job before it is too late.
So what is a 1.5 degrees Celsius target and why do global temperatures matter? The Earth is getting hotter than ever. Stopping warming at 1.5 degrees Celsius can help us avoid some of the most catastrophic harms of climate change. Our planet is faced with unprecedented and irreversible changes affecting millions of people. If we don't reach the 1.5 degrees Celsius target, it will result in extreme weather events, heat waves, more frequent wildfires, rising sea levels, changes in flood and drought patterns, and ecosystem collapse. Here is an excerpt from the IPCC report on climate change. The report states that global warming reaching 1.5 degrees Celsius in the near term would cause unavoidable increases in multiple climate hazards and present multiple risks to ecosystems and humans. The level of risk will depend on concurrent near-term trends in vulnerability, exposure, level of socio-economic development, and adaptation. Near-term actions that limit global warming to close to 1.5 degrees Celsius would substantially reduce projected losses and damages related to climate change in human systems and ecosystems compared to higher warming levels, but cannot eliminate them all. The World Meteorological Organization has stated that 2022 is likely to be the 5th or 6th warmest year on record. A 2018 report by Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has stated that to meet the 1.5 goal, we must cut carbon dioxide emissions by 50% globally by 2030. But new estimates suggest that global carbon dioxide emissions from fossil fuels and cement have hit a record high of 36.6 billion tons this year. This year, global carbon emissions are expected to increase by 1% above last year's levels, when in fact, they should have been declining by 5% every year to meet our climate goals.
Pledging net zero, that's the easy part. The hard part is doing the work to get there. And the fact is that pledges alone do not lower emissions. And we must all go from rhetoric to reality. And quite frankly, when one looks at the current climate landscape, we seem to be going backwards on climate action. Emissions rebounded to their highest level in history just last year, and they're still rising. As we've seen from recent reports from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, more than half of humanity is already in the danger zone.
Going beyond the 1.5 degrees Celsius to 2 degrees Celsius will expose millions of people worldwide to climate-related risks. To reach the 1.5 goal and limit climate risks, all nations must act together and reaffirm their goals towards combating climate change. But even in the recently held COP27 summit, many countries resisted mentioning a global goal of limiting warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius in the official text of the summit. Some climate activists have already started saying that the world has lost the battle for the 1.5 degree goal. The World Meteorological Organization has stated that the chance of temporarily exceeding 1.5 degrees Celsius has risen steadily since 2015, when it was close to zero. For the years between 2017 and 2021, there was a 10% chance of exceedance. That probability has increased to nearly 50% for the 2022-2026 period. The world is in the throes of a climate emergency, and the writing is clear on the wall. Limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius or risk climate catastrophe.